Hello, this is TV Official 1 with another review. This time we're doing one of the shows you might not have heard about. It's called On Bronntanas. I saw a few ads for this, and I went over onto TG Caher Player this morning and found this episode. This one's called The Exile Returns and is the first episode in the new series. So I was quite curious to see what would happen, just to see the production values, the writing, how everything worked in this one. So I'm planning to do how many episodes? I think there's 5 out so far, so I'll get through those ones and see if there's any more further ones, and it's gone along with my other reviews. These ones will be sort of my priority from now on, if I come around to making them. So you can. This is an Irish subtitled show, just for your warning, which means it will have English subtitles on the bottom or whatever, and it's spoken mostly in Irish. There's a few bits of English in this episode. Basically, let's get to the episode, I think. So start off and enjoy. The show begins with some interesting credit roll of a nice, sort of dark sort of music, which sets the pace for the episode, I think. It's sort of centered around JJ, who we see in the first scene. We learn about this man as it goes on. He is working in a quarry in Canada when he gets a call from Ireland, from his brother McDara, who tells him that Tom, their father, has passed away, and at the funeral where McDara and his mother are, we learn that JJ had a bad relationship with his dad and is not expected to come to the funeral, but his mother expects him to be there, and so he comes. We learn about his mother being a very strong character, and I think that his mother just really sets the tone for this episode, goes along with it and works as a quite interesting sort of useful character, like a plot device that brings forward McDara and JJ. And so we got learn most about her earlier on, and then she tells JJ that he will be taking over the business of fishing and the factory, as mother has chosen him over McDara, even though he's the eldest. And we learn that they're JJ's father and McDara's father and the mother's husband, now she's widowed, was just a great figure in the village, the fishing village that they live in, and that's why everyone showed up for this event. And there's going to be a midnight mass in this episode as well. So we learned that there had been a lot of love in the family for their father, but except for JJ, who did not have a good relationship with his father at all. In our next scene, a hearse with 2 men inside it pull up at the harbour, which we see part of this episode a bit, and a woman is watching from on the side dock bit area, sees these 2 men pull up and takes a snap of the weapons crate, climbing into their boat, but is caught by one of the men. He murders her, as we think happens. He stabs her right there with a scythe, as she took a picture of the, basically drugs and grenades inside the weapons crate. And he's told, and somehow gets away on the boat, she does, and he flies into the sea. JJ and the others are struggling in the company of a month later. JJ and others are still have owned this company, and basically the man there is telling him, JJ himself, that as manager he's got to do something about this, because this company is under a flow and is going to be gone soon unless he does something to keep them all from getting arrested. Basically, it actually goes to very extreme lengths here. A month after his father has passed away. And he's told that he must fire people fast, and in order to keep going. In another scene, McDara, JJ's brother, is being beaten up by 2 men who attack him and cut him on his chest or whatever. He gets a cut, bruise, and we see him with another woman who he used to date. The Florence Nightingale, don't really know her name, but so McDara sort of talks to her for a bit, and we see a bit of his lifestyle. He goes to the bar, and that's where a next scene comes in. JJ is forced to fire people, and as he does this, he has to fire people who haven't worked here as long, and that's the way he goes about doing that. So we see his mother telling JJ that he must look after McDara, and she is not in a good state now. At home, she just looks very, just like unstable, basically, and just really like emotionally detached from the rest of the world, and just in her own state of depression. You can see that in the picture there. So in our next scene, at the midnight mass, after a call comes in about a mysterious boat offshore, and the team get to work along with McDara, JJ, and the priest at the funeral procession. And basically they run along, and this is where the sort of action comes into it. They quickly go to the old lifeboat centre and get ready to go. And we find out that the Florence Nightingale, her father, has like having some heart problems or issues, and is struggling to breathe, and they need to get to the hospital. So she goes with another man, and they go with their dad to the hospital. Meanwhile, the other team, JJ, McDara, and the others, are forced to get in the boat and go out and find this mysterious ship that's offshore, just off the harbour. And they go out and into the darkness to see what's happening and find out where to go. And they come across this boat that the woman is still in, and they find her dead. And McDara finds her dead and finds a cell phone. The Englishman finds the cell phone and takes it with him, and they see the crate of drugs, and they take it aboard their ship. And as they get back home onto the harbour, like early morning time when it's just getting to dawn, they have to come across a sort of revelation, because they can basically either tell the cops and guys that they found the drugs and everything and just completely solve what's happening here, or they can keep it and then use that money they get from the dope to basically keep their company and get loads of money into their fishing company and keep that going for their father's wishes. And they there's a good line in here that McDara says that to JJ, trying to make him go along with this, that this was the father's wished them to do. This was their father, because they got saved. They worked to get to that, because they were out there and they could have got killed out on the stormy seas. And so they split the money 3 ways, and we get to see Florence's dad in hospital collapses, and we see McDara and JJ drive along over to the hospital and find his father not in a good way. Meanwhile, the Englishman who was on board their ship and got a third of their money has the phone and goes back to his caravan, which we saw a shot of at the start of the episode. He puts the SIM card on in a secret spot, and then basically calls his phone and says, "I have it." And yeah, that's where a sort of crime area gets into the show. So the credits roll there and then, and I get time to reflect on what I just saw in front of me. Let's just think about these characters that we've been introduced to. JJ, who possesses some determination, and I really actually thought it was a fun character. I think he's quite distinguishable from the rest of them, which works really well. He doesn't feel like he fits in with the others in the area, and it showed greatly in the fishing factory where he has to fire people, and they're like, "You don't know how to treat people," and he just stands there and looks at them and then walks off. I think the dialogue was kind of poor in this. Like, I don't know about the dialogue, it was just sort of there and then. There wasn't much of it, and it's sort of going between being a crime sort of thing, like figuring out what to do with all the dope, but they're at the hands of it because they have the drugs, and the guys who escape, we don't know who they are and what they've done, and McDara in this episode, I didn't really like him. I thought he was a bit, just weird. And he sort of seemed like a scaredy cat at times when he's off there, just basically getting beaten up and like crying about it. And I don't know, that's maybe just being a bit weird, but yeah, there's other times where at the trying to act like brave his brother and stuff when they're on the harbour, but he seems a bit all over the place, along with Florence, who doesn't get much screen time at all, and I think she's going to be one of the main characters, I guess. Her father is a sort of a basis of what she feels, and McDara as well, so she's caught in the middle of all this storm that's being swept by JJ and McDara, and the mother is just... I like the mother in this. I think she was really good, actually. Played well, I thought. The story, although it's comes in two parts, like part 1, part 2. I guess there's an ad break in the middle, which I didn't have to go through. The story really, it does what it says. This JJ comes back. He, I guess, goes with McDara, do what they do. It's just over the month that this bit takes place. It's just, I think it works to quite their advantage. Yeah, I thought it was pretty nifty story. And I like the boat scenes where they're out in the storm. They're just quite cool, and the music is very intense. And I'm just excited to see what direction they take the show in. Leave your comments below what you think of this, and if you've ever seen it before, I hope I've inspired you to go check it out and see it and give your own opinion on this episode. So, thank you for enjoying this. Like, subscribe, and always comment below to see, give your opinion on this episode, and favourite and share, and just tell me if I should do more of this. Goodbye.